The quantum resonance detector aboard the deep space mining vessel Hyperion had been beeping for 3 days straight, driving Commander Sarah Chen to the edge of her patience. The device, intended to locate rare mineral deposits in asteroid belts, had never acted like this before. Its steady rhythm echoed through the ship's bridge, a constant reminder that something was very different about this region of space. "If that thing doesn't shut up soon, I'm spacing it," muttered flight engineer Marcus Rodriguez, his dark eyes fixed on the navigation console. The rest of the bridge crew, all 4 of them, shared knowing looks. They'd all been thinking the same thing. Sarah ran her fingers through her short black hair, a habit she'd developed during her 15 years in deep space. "Before we resort to violence against innocent equipment, let's try to figure out what it's actually detecting." She turned to their science officer. "Dr. Patel, any theories yet?" Dr. Aisha Patel hadn't looked away from her holographic display since the beeping started. At 32, she was the youngest crew member, but easily the most qualified when it came to the theoretical physics that governed their mining operations. "It's impossible," she said, not for the first time. "The quantum signature suggests something massive, but there's nothing here. We're in empty space." The Hyperion had been commissioned by the United Earth Mining Corporation to explore the Kuiper Belt's outer reaches, searching for deposits of rare elements needed for the latest generation of quantum processors. It was routine work, or at least it had been until 3 days ago. "Show me the visual again," Sarah ordered, and the main view screen lit up with a real-time image of the space ahead of them. Empty, just the eternal blackness studded with distant stars. But the quantum detector kept beeping, insisting something was there. Marcus straightened suddenly in his chair. "Commander, I'm picking up some strange gravitational readings. Whatever's out there, it's starting to affect our trajectory." "Compensating," called out Helen Wong from the pilot's station, her hands dancing over the controls. The Hyperion shuddered slightly as its thrusters fired, maintaining their position. Sarah was about to order a full stop when Dr. Patel gasped. "The quantum signature. It's changing. Oh my God." The empty space ahead of them began to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. The distortion grew, spreading across their field of view, until it looked like reality itself was being twisted inside out. Then, with a flash of light that forced them all to shield their eyes, something appeared. When they could see again, the entire bridge crew fell silent. Floating before them was a structure that defied comprehension. It was roughly cylindrical, but its surface seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, covered in patterns that hurt the eyes if you looked at them too long. It was enormous. Their initial scan suggested it was at least 5 kilometers long. "Is that?" Marcus swallowed hard. "Is that what I think it is?" Dr. Patel's voice was barely a whisper. "It's artificial. And based on these readings, it's ancient. Millions of years old at least." Before anyone could respond, a beam of light shot out from the structure, scanning their ship from bow to stern. Sarah tensed, ready to order evasive maneuvers, but something told her to wait. The scan completed, and then... "Commander," Helen called out, her voice tight with excitement and fear. "We're receiving a transmission. It's in English." Sarah nodded, trying to keep her voice steady. "Put it through." The voice that filled the bridge was unlike anything they'd ever heard. It seemed to come from everywhere at once, resonating not just in their ears but in their bones. "Greetings, children of Earth. We are the Guardians, and we have been waiting for you for a very long time." Sarah found her voice. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the mining vessel Hyperion. We're honored to meet you." "The honor is ours, Commander. Your species has finally reached the threshold we have been watching for. You are ready to learn the truth about your place in the galaxy and about the war that is coming." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. "War? Yes, a war that has raged for billions of years, fought in the spaces between stars. A war that has seen countless civilizations rise and fall. But you humans are different. You have something we have never seen before." Dr. Pottle leaned forward. What do we have? An adaptability that defies prediction, a resilience that borders on the impossible, and most importantly, a unique connection to the quantum realm that you have only begun to discover, the very technology that led you to us. Your quantum resonance detector is proof of this gift. The voice paused, and Sarah could have sworn she felt a wave of emotion from it, hope tinged with urgency. The enemy approaches, children of Earth. They consume entire galaxies, turning ordered space into chaos. They have destroyed civilizations far more advanced than yours. But you might be the key to stopping them. If you are willing to learn, if you are willing to fight. Sarah looked around at her crew. She saw fear in their eyes, yes, but also determination, curiosity, that uniquely human drive to push forward, to explore, to overcome. She turned back to face the ancient structure. We're willing to learn, she said firmly. Tell us everything. Then let us begin, the voice replied. First, you must understand what you truly are. The quantum sensitivity that lets you detect this installation. It is not just a technological achievement. It is a manifestation of something buried deep in your species' genetic code. Something we placed there millions of years ago, when we first recognized your potential. The bridge crew exchanged shocked looks as the implications sank in. They weren't just making first contact with an alien civilization. They were meeting their creators, or at least their genetic engineers. Why us? Sarah asked. Out of all the species on Earth, why did you choose humans? Because you dream, Commander Chen. You dream bigger and more vividly than any species we have encountered in billions of years of observation. Your ability to imagine possibilities, to envision futures that do not yet exist, it is unique in all our experience. And now, that ability may be the salvation of all ordered space. As if to emphasize the point, the structure began to pulse with light, patterns flowing across its surface like living circuitry. New holographic displays appeared around them, showing images that made their heads spin. Vast battles between forces they could barely comprehend, technologies that seemed to defy the laws of physics, and maps of the galaxy that revealed how very, very small their corner of space truly was. The enemy will reach your solar system in less than 5 of your years, the voice continued. We will help you prepare. We will teach you to unlock the potential we seeded within you. But the fighting, that must be done by you. The question is, are you ready to become what you were always meant to be? Sarah Chen stood up from her command chair, her decision already made. She knew this moment would change human history forever. But looking at her crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes, she also knew humanity would rise to the challenge. We're ready, she said. Where do we begin? The message from the Hyperion changed everything. Within weeks, Earth's governments united under a single banner. The Terran Defense Initiative, the ancient structure, now dubbed the Nexus, became humanity's most closely guarded secret and their greatest source of hope. 3 months after first contact, Commander Sarah Chen stood in a vast chamber deep within the Nexus, watching as Dr. Aisha Patel interfaced with its systems. The young scientist's hands moved through holographic displays that seemed to respond to her thoughts as much as her movements. It's extraordinary, Aisha breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. The Guardians weren't exaggerating about our quantum sensitivity. Every human who's interfaced with their systems has shown unprecedented levels of neural synchronization. We're adapting to their technology faster than they predicted. Marcus Rodriguez, now head of the engineering team studying the Nexus, looked up from his workstation. Maybe too fast. The power readings we're getting from these interfaces are off the charts, if we're not careful. A sudden surge of energy interrupted him. The holographic displays around Aisha flared brilliant blue, and she gasped as new information flooded her mind. Sarah rushed forward, but the scientist held up a hand. I'm okay, she said, her voice trembling with excitement. More than okay. I can see it now, what they've been trying to tell us about the quantum realm. It's not just another dimension. It's the foundation of consciousness itself. The Guardian's voice echoed through the chamber, that same resonant tone that Sarah had first heard aboard the Hyperion. Yes, Dr. Patel, you begin to understand. Your species exists simultaneously in both physical and quantum states to a degree we have never seen before. This is why you dream, why you imagine, why you create. Sarah crossed her arms, her military training making her cautious despite her amazement. And this is why you think we can fight an enemy that's destroyed civilizations more advanced than ours. Precisely. The Void Swarm, as you have named them, operates purely in physical space. They cannot comprehend the quantum realm. This has been their advantage, until now. They destroy by introducing chaos into ordered systems, by breaking down the barriers between dimensions. But you humans, you already exist in both states. You cannot be broken because you are already dual-natured. Marcus whistled low. So that's why you modify our ancestors. You were playing the long game, creating a species that could naturally resist their primary weapon. Yet this gift comes with great responsibility. The Guardians continued. And great risk. The quantum realm is not meant to interact directly with physical space. The technology we have provided you, the quantum cores, the neural interfaces, they are merely tools to help you focus abilities you already possess. But the true power must come from within. As if to demonstrate, the chamber's walls began to ripple with energy. Images formed in the air around them, scenes from Earth's history, but focused on moments of human creativity and invention. The first use of fire, the wheel, the printing press, the computer, faster than light travel. Each of these achievements, the Guardians explained, was made possible by your species' unique ability to imagine something that did not yet exist, and then make it real. You bridge the gap between possibility and actuality in ways that defy conventional physics. Aisha's hands were moving faster now, her connection to the Nexus's systems growing stronger. The quantum cores we're developing for our defense platforms, they're not just power sources, are they? They're more like amplifiers for human consciousness. Indeed, your existing neural interface technology, crude though it may be, was already a step in the right direction. Combined with our quantum cores, it will allow human pilots to do more than simply control their machines. They will become one with them, extending their consciousness into the physical world in ways previously thought impossible. Sarah remembered her years piloting mining vessels, how she'd always felt a strange connection to her ships that went beyond mere familiarity. That's why human pilots have always performed better than AI systems, isn't it? We weren't just controlling the machines. We were communicating with them, in a manner of speaking. But what you have achieved so far is merely a shadow of your true potential. The Void Swarm approaches, and we have precious little time to help you unlock your full capabilities. The chamber's lighting shifted, and new holographic displays appeared, showing technical specifications for what looked like advanced combat platforms. But these weren't like anything humanity had built before. Their designs seemed to flow and shift as if they weren't quite fully in physical space. These are the templates for what you would call battleships, the Guardians explained, but they are much more than that. They are extensions of human consciousness, designed to amplify your natural quantum sensitivity while providing protection from the Void Swarm's chaos effect. Marcus studied the specifications with growing excitement. The energy efficiency is incredible. And these weapon systems, they're not just firing physical projectiles. What are they doing exactly? They are focusing the pilot's quantum creative potential into directed energy that can disrupt the Void Swarm's dimensional interference. But they will only work if the pilot has fully embraced their dual nature. This is why the next phase of your preparation is crucial. Aisha suddenly straightened, her connection to the Nexus revealing something that made her breath catch. The training program you're proposing, it's not just about learning to use the technology, is it? It's about fundamentally changing how we perceive reality. Correct. You must learn to consciously exist in both physical and quantum states simultaneously. It will be dangerous. Some may not survive the transition, but those who do will become something new. Champions capable of defending not just humanity, but all of ordered space. Sarah felt the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. They had 3 months until the first wave of quantum battleships would be ready for testing. 3 months to train pilots for a type of warfare that had never been attempted before. 3 months to prepare for an enemy that had destroyed civilizations far more advanced than Earth. But looking at her companions, Aisha's brilliant mind already adapting to impossible new concepts, Marcus's engineering genius ready to tackle any challenge. She felt a surge of that uniquely human optimism. The Guardians had chosen humanity for a reason. Now it was time to prove they'd chosen correctly. The quantum battleship Defiant hung at the edge of the solar system, its crystalline hull now laced with flowing patterns of energy that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. In the neural interface cradle, Commander Sarah Chen existed in a state that defied conventional understanding. Her consciousness spread across multiple quantum states while maintaining its human cohesion. Multiple dimensional ruptures detected. Aisha's voice came through the quantum network, much larger than before. They're committing their full force this time. Through the enhanced sensors, Sarah could see the truth of it. The Void Swarm wasn't just sending another attack force. They were bringing their main fleet, if such a term could apply to entities that existed partially outside normal spacetime. All ships, quantum resonance sync, Sarah commanded. The fleet of 30 upgraded battleships responded instantly, their crews linking consciousness through the new neural interfaces. The sensation was unlike anything humans had experienced before, a perfect blend of individual identity and collective awareness. Marcus's voice came through the network from his position as Fleet Tactical Coordinator. Reading over 300 swarm entities, they've adapted their quantum signatures. Our old tactics won't work as effectively. Good thing we got some new ones, Sarah responded. She could feel the confidence radiating from her crews through the quantum link. They had spent the last week learning to harness their rediscovered abilities, pushing the boundaries of what human consciousness could achieve. The Void Swarm emerged into normal space like a tide of unreality, their very presence causing the fabric of space-time to buckle and warp. But this time, the human fleet was ready. Instead of trying to maintain rigid barriers of ordered space, they created flexible fields that flowed with the chaos while remaining fundamentally stable. Remember your training, Sarah broadcast. Don't fight the quantum flux. Become it. Show them what human dreams can do. The battle began not with an exchange of fire, but with a clash of realities. The swarm entities projected waves of chaos, trying to break down the ordered structure of space itself. The human fleet responded by entering a state of quantum superposition, their ships existing in multiple possible configurations simultaneously. Through the neural network, Sarah felt her crews unleashing their full potential. Each ship became a focal point of human consciousness, transforming the Guardian's technology in ways its creators had never imagined. The quantum cores pulsed with energy patterns that defied analysis, responding to human intuition and creativity. They're trying to adapt, Aisha reported, her voice tight with concentration, as she coordinated the fleet's quantum fields. But they can't predict what we're going to do because we're not just choosing from existing possibilities, we're creating new ones. Sarah understood. The Void Swarm operated by breaking down reality's existing patterns, but humans could imagine and manifest entirely new patterns. It was the ultimate expression of humanity's gift, the ability to dream something into existence. Battle Groups 1 through 3. Initiate Dream Protocol Alpha, she commanded. Through the quantum network, she felt 12 ships shift their consciousness into a higher state of quantum superposition. Their crystalline hulls began to pulse with impossible colors as their human crews literally dreamed new laws of physics into existence in localized fields around their vessels. The Void Swarm reacted with visible confusion. Their coordinated attack patterns broke down as they encountered pockets of space operating under rules they couldn't comprehend. Some of their entities simply ceased to exist when they hit these areas, their chaos-based structure unable to maintain coherence in the face of human-imagined reality. But the swarm was ancient and powerful. They began to concentrate their forces, combining their reality-warping effects into a massive wave of dimensional instability that threatened to tear the fleet apart. All ships, full quantum sync. Sarah ordered, "Don't resist, transcend." In that moment, something unprecedented happened. The human fleet didn't just coordinate their actions. Their crew's consciousness merged into a collective quantum state while maintaining individual identity. 30 ships moved as one, their human pilots stringing together, creating a new level of reality that existed somewhere between order and chaos. The Guardian's voice echoed through the quantum network. "You have exceeded all expectations. What you are creating now, it is beyond anything we imagined possible." The endangered ship's captain got the message. Instead of trying to maintain a perfect quantum field, they began to flow with the chaos, channeling it through their human consciousness and redirecting it back at the swarm. The tactic worked. The attacking entities recoiled, clearly unprepared for their own weapon to be turned against them. "All ships, new tactic." Sarah broadcast. "Don't try to be perfect. Be human. Be adaptable. Let your minds flow between order and chaos just like we trained. Show them why the Guardians chose us." The battle shifted as the human fleet adopted the new strategy. Instead of trying to maintain rigid formations and perfect quantum fields, they began to fight more intuitively, each crew finding their own balance between order and chaos. The quantum battleships moved like dancers in a deadly ballet, their actions guided by human creativity and determination. More swarm entities emerged from the dimensional ruptures, but now the human defenders were ready. They had found their rhythm, their natural quantum sensitivity amplified by the Guardian's technology, but guided by human intuition and adaptability. Hours passed in a battle that bent space and time itself. Slowly, steadily, the Void Swarm began to retreat. Not because their numbers had been greatly diminished. The humans had only managed to destroy a few of the entities, but because they had encountered something they couldn't understand or predict. "They're pulling back," Aisha reported, her voice filled with exhaustion and triumph. "The dimensional ruptures are closing." Sarah maintained her neural link until the last swarm entity had disappeared back into the chaos between dimensions. Only then did she allow herself to relax, feeling the strain of hours of quantum-enhanced combat. "Damage report," she ordered, her voice hoarse. 3 ships severely damaged but repairable. Marcus responded. "No losses. We actually did it. We drove them back." "Not just drove them back," Aisha added, excitement creeping into her tired voice. "We showed them something new. Something they've never seen in billions of years of existence. Consciousness that can exist in both order and chaos, guided by human will." Sarah knew this was only the beginning. The Void Swarm would return, probably with new tactics and greater numbers. But humanity had proven something today, not just to their enemy, but to themselves. They were ready for this fight, ready to defend not just Earth, but all of ordered space. The Guardians had chosen well. 3 days after the first battle with the Void Swarm, Dr. Aisha Patel stood before a wall of quantum data streams in the Nexus, her mind racing with implications. She hadn't slept since the battle, too consumed by what she'd witnessed during the fight. Something about the way human consciousness had interacted with both order and chaos didn't fit any existing theoretical model. "You found something." It wasn't a question. Commander Sarah Chen knew that look in her friend's eyes, the same expression Aisha had worn when they first discovered the quantum resonance signal that led them to the Guardians. "The battle data confirms it," Aisha said, her hands moving through holographic displays with practiced ease. "When our pilots engaged the swarm, they weren't just redirecting chaos, they were transforming it. Look at these consciousness patterns." The display shifted, showing overlapping waves of quantum information. To most observers, it would have been incomprehensible, but Sarah had spent enough time connected to quantum systems to recognize the basic patterns. "Those are neural patterns from the battle," she said. "But they're different from our training data." Marcus Rodriguez joined them, carrying several quantum core diagnostic units. Different is an understatement. During the fight, the cores were operating at 130% of theoretical maximum capacity. According to everything we know about quantum mechanics, that should be impossible. The Guardian's voice resonated through the chamber. "You begin to understand. What you witnessed was not merely human consciousness interfacing with our technology. It was the first expression of humanity's true potential." Aisha's hands froze mid-gesture. "The quantum sensitivity you engineered into our ancestors, it wasn't just about resistance to chaos effects, was it? What did you really do to us?" "We did not create something new," the Guardians explained. "We awakened something that was already there, dormant in the primitive consciousness of your species. Your ancestors were unique among all the beings we had observed. They could dream while awake." Sarah frowned. "Daydreaming. That's our secret weapon." "Not merely daydreaming, Commander. The ability to hold multiple states of reality and consciousness simultaneously. To imagine what is not, while fully aware of what is. This is a form of quantum superposition, at the level of consciousness itself." Marcus let out a low whistle. "That's why the Void Swarm couldn't predict our tactics. We weren't just thinking outside the box. We were thinking in quantum superposition." "Precisely." A new series of images appeared around them, brain scans from the battle, but viewed through quantum sensors. When human consciousness fully engages with our technology, it does not simply use it. It transforms it, creating new possibilities that we ourselves never imagined. Aisha's eyes widened as she processed the implications. The quantum cores aren't just amplifying our natural abilities. They're learning from us, evolving. Every time we use them, the interaction between human consciousness and quantum systems creates new patterns of possibility. Yes, and this is what makes you unique among all the species we have guided. Others could use our technology, but only as we designed it. You humans, you dream it into something more." Sarah thought back to the battle, how her crews had instinctively adapted when their original tactics failed. "That's why you waited so long to contact us. You needed us to develop our own technology first, to prove we could innovate independently." "Indeed. And now you must take the next step. Dr. Patel's discovery points the way forward, but the path will be dangerous. You must learn to consciously direct this ability, to dream new realities into existence while maintaining your connection to ordered space." Aisha was already working through the calculations, her enhanced mind processing quantum equations with remarkable speed. "The neural interfaces we're using, they're too rigid. They're designed to impose order on chaos, but what we really need is flow," Marcus finished. "Like in the battle, when we stopped trying to fight chaos and started flowing with it. That's when we were strongest." New schematics appeared in the air around them, showing modifications to the quantum battleship's neural interface systems. The design seemed to shift and change as they watched, responding to the combined consciousness of the humans in the room. "These modifications," Aisha breathed, "they're not just coming from the Guardians. We're creating them, right now, through our interaction with the quantum systems." "Yes," the Guardians confirmed. "For the first time in our existence, we are not merely teaching. We are learning alongside you. Your consciousness resonates with our systems in ways we never predicted, creating new possibilities with every interaction." Sarah studied the new designs, her tactical mind already seeing the potential applications. How long to implement these changes? "The physical modifications can be completed within days," Marcus said. "But training people to use the new systems, that's going to be tricky. We're talking about fundamentally changing how human consciousness interfaces with quantum reality." "Not changing," Aisha corrected. "Remembering. The Guardians didn't give us these abilities. They helped us rediscover what we always had. The human mind naturally exists in quantum superposition. We just forgot how to access it. The implications were staggering. If Aisha was right, if humans could learn to consciously control this ability, they would have an advantage the Void Swarm could never match. But the risks were equally enormous. The swarm will return, Sarah said, probably with new tactics, trying to counter what we showed them in the last battle. How long until we can have the first upgraded ship ready for testing? Marcus checked his calculations, 72 hours for the physical upgrades, but finding a pilot who can handle the new interface. I'll do it, Sarah said firmly. I've had the most neural interface experience, and I've already touched this state during the battle. We don't have time to be cautious. The Guardian's presence seemed to intensify. The risk is considerable, Commander Chen. The human mind was not meant to consciously exist in quantum superposition. The process could destroy your consciousness entirely. Sarah smiled grimly. Maybe that's true for most species. But we humans, we've been doing the impossible since we first looked up at the stars and dreamed about touching them. This is just the next step. Aisha and Marcus exchanged looks, then nodded. They all knew the stakes. The Void Swarm would return, probably within days, and Earth needed every advantage it could get. Begin the modifications, Sarah ordered. And send word to the fleet. Every pilot who volunteers for the upgrade gets priority. It's time to show the universe what humanity can really do. As the team began their work, the Guardians observed silently. After billions of years of watching and waiting, they were witnessing something unprecedented. A species that could not only use their technology but transform it, dream it into something new. The coming battle would test this potential to its limits and beyond. The quantum battleship Defiant hung in high Earth orbit, its crystalline hull reflecting the pale blue light of humanity's homeworld. In the command center, Commander Sarah Chen sat in the neural interface cradle, her consciousness extended through the ship's quantum systems. After 3 months of intensive training, the connection felt as natural as breathing. Multiple dimensional ruptures detected at the edge of the solar system. Aisha's voice came through both the ship's speakers and Sarah's neural link. The Void Swarm is right on schedule. Through the ship's enhanced sensors, Sarah could see what normal instruments couldn't detect. Tears in the fabric of space-time, leaking chaos into ordered space. The enemy wasn't just arriving. They were breaking reality itself to get here. All ships, Battle Formation Delta, Sarah commanded, her thoughts instantly relayed to the fleet of 20 quantum battleships spread across the solar system. Each vessel was crewed by only a handful of humans, their consciousness augmented by the Guardian's technology. It wasn't a large force, but they were humanity's best hope. Marcus, now serving as her tactical officer, monitored the quantum core readings, power systems nominal, neural synchronization at 98% across the fleet. Whatever's coming through those ruptures, we're as ready as we'll ever be. The first of the Void Swarm emerged into normal space. Sarah's enhanced perception took in their true form. Massive entities that existed partially out of phase with reality, their bodies constantly shifting between states of matter and energy. They moved like a coordinated swarm of insects, but each individual was the size of a small moon. By all that's holy, Marcus whispered, the historical records didn't do them justice. Stay focused, Sarah ordered, even as her own heart raced. Remember your training. Don't let their appearance distract you from what they really are. Patterns of chaos trying to disrupt ordered space. We can counter that. The Void Swarm accelerated toward Earth, their passage leaving trails of dimensional instability. Normal matter began to break down in their wake, asteroid belts dissolving into quantum foam as natural laws failed. All ships, initiate quantum resonance, Sarah commanded. Through her neural link, she could feel the other captains responding, their consciousness harmonizing through the quantum network. This was what made humans special, their ability to maintain individual thought while joining in collective action. The fleet's crystalline hulls began to pulse with blue-white energy as they generated fields of ordered quantum space, creating zones where reality remained stable despite the swarm's influence. It was working, just as the simulations had predicted, but Sarah knew this was only the beginning. The first wave of the swarm crashed against their quantum barriers like a tide of chaos against shores of light. Sarah felt the impact through her neural link, not as physical pressure, but as a fundamental wrongness trying to corrupt ordered thought itself. "They're testing our defenses," Aisha reported, her voice tight with concentration, as she coordinated the fleet's quantum field harmonics. "The patterns suggest they're confused. They've never encountered resistance like this before." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. "Then let's show them something else new. Battle Group 1. Initiate attack pattern Dreamweaver." Through her quantum connection, Sarah felt 4 ships break formation, their human crews pushing their neural interfaces to the limit. The battleships moved in ways that should have been impossible, their paths through space, guided not by physical laws, but by human imagination given form through the quantum cores. The void swarm reacted with visible confusion, their coordinated movements becoming erratic as they tried to predict the unpredictable. The human ships weren't just flying. They were rewriting local spacetime according to their pilot's will. "Direct hit," Marcus called out as the first quantum lance struck home. The weapon didn't just damage the swarm entity, it imposed order on its chaotic structure, forcing it partly into normal space where conventional weapons could affect it. But the swarm was ancient and intelligent. They quickly adapted, changing their attack patterns and concentrating their reality warping effect on individual ships. One of the quantum battleships screamed across the neural network as its quantum field began to fail. Sarah reached out through the connection, lending her own consciousness to reinforce the failing ship's defenses. "Focus," she commanded. "Don't fight the chaos. Redirect it. Remember the training. We're not just fighting with technology. We're fighting with our minds." The space around the human fleet began to transform. It wasn't chaos like the void swarm created, nor was it rigid order. It was something new, a dynamic stability that could adapt and flow while maintaining its fundamental structure. Like consciousness itself, it could change and grow while remaining true to its essential nature. "Push the advantage," Sarah commanded. "Show them what humanity can really do." The fleet moved forward as one, each ship trailing streams of quantum energy that rewrote the local laws of physics. Where they passed, space itself was transformed, converted into a state that was inherently hostile to the void swarm's chaos-based existence. The swarm entities began to retreat, their coordinated patterns dissolving into disorder. They had encountered something entirely outside their experience, consciousness that could exist in quantum superposition, dreaming new realities into existence while remaining anchored in ordered space. "They're running," Marcus reported, his voice filled with astonishment. "The dimensional ruptures are closing. We actually did it." But Sarah knew this wasn't just a victory, it was a transformation. Humanity had discovered its true potential, unlocking abilities that would change their understanding of reality itself. Through the quantum network, she could feel her crew's exhilaration as they realized the same thing. "The void swarm will return," the Guardians warned. "They cannot allow this new power to exist unchallenged." "Let them come," Sarah responded, feeling the agreement of her crews through the quantum link. "We'll be ready. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or even our quantum sensitivity. It's our ability to adapt, to imagine, to dream new possibilities into existence." As the fleet regrouped and began the journey back to Earth, Sarah knew they had crossed a threshold. Humanity had proven itself to be more than just another species capable of using the Guardian's technology. They had shown themselves to be something new in the universe, beings who could consciously exist in quantum superposition, who could dream new realities into existence. The war was far from over, but the balance had shifted. The Void Swarm's reign of chaos was being challenged not by superior firepower or advanced technology, but by something they could never possess: human consciousness, with its unique ability to bridge the gap between imagination and reality. The Guardians had chosen well indeed.